All right. Hey, all right. Let's see what we got. I still have a microphone. Yes, I do. Is that coming back through here? I can't tell. Okay. Yes, it is. All right, cool. I can mute that. All right, now let's try this. All right, now I think we're cooking now. Okay, now let's try and get some freaking coffee. All right.
And so John's brother-in-law was a man.
All right, can I hear? Let's see. All right, you did hear that. That's good. Wasn't very loud, but it's fine. Let's go ahead and see if we can adjust the volume up a little bit.
And named Stephen, and they had two children who were very young in 2013. Now, in 2013, Kristen, unfortunately, tragically, passed away, succumbing to cancer in November of 2013. Within months of that,
You can hear that a little bit. I think you guys are okay. Why is it going down? Oh, because I lowered it over here. Shit. Okay.
Mr. O'Keefe's brother-in-law and Kristen's husband, Stephen, passed away as well. Now, initially, when John O'Keefe's sister passed away, sort of the initial plan for that situation was that John O'Keefe was going to move in with Stephen Forbush and the kids and assist as far as raising them. And then when Stephen passed away a few months after his wife, before those plans could be final, John O'Keefe then moved in with his niece and nephew and assumed the parental role and assumed legal guardianship with respect to both of those children. Now, he was assisted in this by a great number of people within the town of Canton where the Forbushes lived and where John moved into, the home with the two children there. There were other parents within the neighborhood, other parents within the children's age group. You'll hear from a number of them over the course of this trial, but they include Mrs. Kerry Roberts and Mrs. Jennifer McKay. They helped Mr. O'Keefe out during those initial stages and during the time that he assumed this role. The police department have been for many years. He had been a patrolman prior to moving in with the children and assuming this sort of role. Boston Police Department helped him greatly as far as positioning him into more of a desk role, working in the sex offender unit with more regular hours to sort of assimilate himself to this new life and this new role that he assumes with his children.
Why is that so light? Yeah. Trying to get it louder here so we all can see it. Yeah, we're doing it live. Oh, man. I'm just trying to figure out I just said, hey, why don't I stream my process for making these videos? Well, that just has turned into a complete... anyway. But, hey, we're doing it. So, anyway, all right. Take 2. It's 9 o'clock. Let's see how many more clips we can get. So, I already got a few out of my front computer from Emily for the day. So, let's go to Lawyer You Know. And my other camera's not working. My dog camera's not working. My good dog camera is not working. Fortunately, I wish they were. Oh, I know, man. Exactly. Yay, technology. I know. I tried it earlier today at our little, our store, my friend's store where we got our studio where we do our live stream from. I tried it from there and the computer wasn't strong enough to really get it. So I switched to a second computer, got all that working. And then the internet just in the back room where we were, my laptop couldn't really get to it. So I said, all right, let's come home and try it at home. And then, so we do that and I can't get one of the darn cameras to work. My doggy camera, which now the doggies are all running away, but they'll be back. So that didn't work. So I fought with that for a while, but anyway, here we are. So my plan for my 4-minute video this week was to go back in time to the day when we did the opening statements of this trial. And we got some really good commentary from the folks that were watching this trial from the first day. And so I'm just going to, my process is to clip these clips and then condense them down even farther into the 4-minute videos that we've done. And so this week, it's just somebody's not happy out there. One of our pups is in season, and so our other dog is an idiot when that happens. So it's always fun fighting that fight, chasing that chase, and keeping them apart. But anyway. All right, so let's get the transcript up here and let's get a couple of clips from Lawyer You Know going after Mr. Lawley. Mr. Lowley. So let's see where we're at.
234 Fairview. The left side of the property, there's a flag.
Then, and I don't know if folks know it, but you can pull up this transcript from, I need to shut off Discord so it doesn't keep bugging me. So you can pull up the transcript. So if you go to more, where all the thing is, and you hit show transcript, it'll show you the transcript. And so it's really a good tool, especially if you're looking for specific words. Like when I did the butt dial video, oh my gosh, I searched butt so many times. But yeah, if you just Control F, it'll bring up a thing, and we'll see how many times this snowy, that's not used, but snow, you can see 48 times snow is referenced in this opening statement here. So let's just going to kind of skip along. I'm waiting. I'm kind of wanting reaction.
From the defendant as well as Mrs. Terry Roberts, who would also receive a phone call early that morning.
Got Terry, we got Karen, we got Jennifer.
Okay, so this is a good clip to get. So we're going to go back a few seconds. Go back like 20 seconds. We go full stream. Click the record button. Give it a minute to do this. And then we hit the start.
Evidence and other means, of course, of this trial. The 3 females that the officers observed there were then identified as the defendant, Karen Reed, Mrs. Jennifer McCabe, would receive a phone call earlier in the morning from the defendant, as well as Mrs. Terry Roberts, who would also receive a phone call early that morning
Terry, we got Karen, we got Jennifer. And there's so many names dropping, like people calling each other. Who are they? How do they know each other? What's their connection? What's their connection to John?
Okay, good clip. Very good clip right there. All right. Let's keep going.
Abrasions and lacerations.
See what else we got.
Abrasions and scratches and redness from the cold.
They observed redness from the cold that he had been lying out in for some time. You'll hear the testimony.
You're gonna
So,
hear that he has, swollen eyes and abrasions and scratches.
yeah, we'll get to that. Let's see. So we're just kind of looking for
That,
commentary.
Redness on his skin, which would like it to be crushed it. Did Lally go to Elaine's? When your recap, thanks for covering. Yes, Ashley has been asked all. Go to.
Okay, what's this?
What if anything? School.
What if? I gotta get that. All right. I'm just gonna get the real click. I probably won't use much of that except for just that little bit there, but that's great.
Ashley said, "Buckle up and get your popcorn. State's opening."
That is awesome right there.
To follow, defense crushed it. Did Lally go to Elaine's? What if anything? School. Can't wait to finally hear.
That's all I need right there. That's all I need. That just that one sentence is going to end up in the video. I'll cut out the whole rest of that thing, but that's great. All right, let's keep
so we
going
might have
through.
Forward and very unusual.
McLaughlin and Greg Woodward, the defendant made. I hit.
Seeing the opening, the point of this channel is for me to give my comments.
Yeah, so people in the comments saying, "You're talking too much. Why are you talking too much?" Whatever.
Talks about an expert that's going to test fact or a new person or explain what it's going to prove to us to prove this case.
Despite the 6 inches of snow, approximately that was on top of Mr. O'Keefe's body and was underneath Mr. O'Keefe.
That's a good fact for them. Okay, that's a good. Oh,
okay.
It's 100 degrees out. People that live to be. If there was some kind
Keep
of
going. Keep skipping. Skipping. Let's see what the next commentary's got here. We don't need very much because we're trying to keep this video to like 4 minutes.
Sounds like, I hit him. Statements of self-harm. Later he's going to say he's going to be a big.
All right, that's just part of it here.
Now, you'll also hear testimony from some of the other first regard students and their ability to recover within these blizzard conditions that are still ongoing.
And I agree. It's going to be hard to recover evidence at friends, and you're not necessarily
all right.
Transcript. It's pretty unusual for them to transcript. So town from King on the day. Julie, yeah.
All right, let's go forward some.
Testimony from a number of other individuals who were at the waterfall. The waterfall was a bar located across the street, essentially from CF Apartments on Washington Street in Canton Center. And from a couple was coming up around the same age conversation with the defendant on Washington Street.
Watch it on the little sped up. So if you want to slow it down, you click this button.
Okay. Defendant's vehicle from a from Canton Center.
He's just so. He's just so all over the place with this. When you go back and watch this opening statement, because I did the other day, and I guess I should go get my notes because I took some really good notes, especially for Runkle, which I'll pull up here in a bit. But this is like it's the microcosm of the trial. It's how this trial has been going the same way. This trial's I gotta take my blood thinner. That's what happens when you get old. You take too many pills. But anyway, I digress. Thanks, Alexa. He's just all over the place. He goes back and forth. The timeline goes back and forth. There's no story. When you're a lawyer in a trial, you got to be part actor. You have to be engaging. You have to tell a story. And this is not a story. This is you're going to get this information and you're going to get this information. And I got a clip earlier from Emily where when he finally says that, the defendant left him in the cold or hit him or whatever he said exactly, his voice doesn't change. It's the same droning on. He doesn't make any kind of a raise, his voice doesn't raise an octave. It doesn't go up in volume. It's the same voice. And it's just, you can't do that. You lose your audience. Your audience they're not going to watch that.
A friend of his is also in law enforcement, a man named Brian Higgins. police officer. And then he then returned Ryan.
So do we got any more here? Let's get a couple more, and then we'll move over to
do so sometime shortly after starting to stick.
Runkle, and then we still got to get some Unetti stuff too. So all right, but we're rolling now. We're rolling
The
now.
home that observed the vehicle brothers riding
All
it.
right, this is still
From their position. There's no damage that they observed for that vehicle. I submitted
there's
They have
still
to deal
going.
with that. Additionally, where is going to have similar testimony?
time as though John would keep.
All right, what's he saying here?
See the vehicle.
Everybody within that house seemingly is going to have similar testimony. And that is why we're going to see the defense's opening statement and the defense's strategy. Because everybody see how the trial goes, right? And then we'll see what we hear from the jury.
Calling out was leaving. He's getting picked up by from Nice as well. Home, indicating that he got hit by a plow or that he must be dead. They then proceed off instructions from the bride. Ms. McCabe then gets in the driver's seat due to the defendant's frantic
Doesn't matter, but maybe it does matter.
testify that they did not see Mr. O'Keefe, not only as they were driving past him.
So TRM, I kind of agree. I kind of agree. It just seems like too much that doesn't matter, but maybe it
Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. So let's get a little bit of Ollie, what he's saying.
Defendant is insisting.
Go back to here. Full screen. And I think this will probably be the last one from here unless there's something major.
They then proceed off.
And then we'll move on to Runkle. I'll go grab my paper.
If they can locate Mr. O'Keefe. Defendant is insistent that they go to that residence on Fairview Road. Again, they're driving down there in the dark, in snow, in the wind, in the blizzard. As they approach towards that residence, there is one person, so they're seated within the vehicle. This is Ms. Roberts. She's driving. Mrs. McCabe is in the front passenger seat. The defendant is in the rear passenger seat. The defendant is the only one who sees Mr. O'Keefe, yells and screams at Ms. Roberts to stop. Ms. Roberts and Ms. McCabe, I anticipate, will testify that they did not see Mr. O'Keefe, not only as they were driving past him.
So TRM, I kind of agree. I kind of agree. It just seems like too much that doesn't matter, but maybe it does matter, right? Because I don't know everything that happened in this case. Maybe it does matter. He's just not telling me why, I guess. He's not telling me why certain details matter enough. And that's kind of what, I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. That's a good clip. All right. Let's go to the Runkle because he's fun. So there's a few clips of him. I just need a few from each one. So live. And let's find day one. Day one. Here we go. Okay, let me go grab a sheet because I wrote down a whole bunch of numbers on Runkle. So hang on a second. Be right back. Grab my water too. Okay. All right. Okay. Water over there. Okay. There we go. All right. Runkle paper. There we go. That's why it takes so long on these videos is you go through, you find the clips. You got to find the clips first, then you got to look them up. So let's see. So Runkle. for. So we got a 1408. Let's see what's at 1408. Let's go ahead and bring up the transcript too. That, like I said, transcript. Show transcript under more. If you're ever doing something like this, it really helps to pull up the transcript. So we can go. Okay, 1358. So what happens here?
I get that the weather's important, right?
Right.
The February 28th and the 29th is the weather. So there have been.
Oh, that's right. He says the most important thing is the weather. So yeah, let's get that. Let's get that. Okay, so make sure we're at highest quality. Good. Go full screen. Click the go button. Give it a minute to just warm up. There we go.
Keith and Furbush family had to look forward to. One little difference when it came to that particular day of January 28th and the 29th is the weather. So there had been predicted, and there was going to be.
Really? The difference is the weather? Like,
Oh, Runkle.
I get that the weather's important, right? The weather's important, but when I'm raising, like, here's the thing that was different on this day, the weather isn't the thing that I like. Oh,
Okay.
if I'm his family,
All right. And then 1724. We had a good one. See what we got here.
And went to sleep over at his friend's house. John O'Keefe and Michael Camorano then decided to travel out to a local establishment on Washington Street called CF Bar and Restaurant. You're going to hear testimony, and you're going to see surveillance video, and you're going to see receipts and all kinds of things from a variety of different establishments, all sort of located within Camden Center along that strip of Washington Street.
the thing is he's like yada yada yadaing through what should be a timeline here.
Okay. We'll just go back 10 seconds on that one. And go there.
Center along that strip of Washington Street.
The thing is he's like yada yada yadaing through what should be a timeline here. He should be telling us.
That's all we need there. Let's go back and get just a little bit of.
Travel out and went to sleep over at his friend's house. Friend's house.
Go ahead and start.
The nephew of John, the 11-year-old, was sleeping over at a friend's house that night. He left that home sometime around 7 p.m. or so, got picked up and went to sleep over at his friend's house. John O'Keefe and Michael Camorano then decided to travel out to a local
Get a
establishment.
few seconds of this.
You're going to hear.
All right, there we go. That's enough of that. Okay, next one, 2204. It's good that I did the prep on these. I didn't do the prep on all of them. Let's see, 22. All right, what do we got?
Do you think there's a way you could get any more vague for us? Because
All right, we'll go back 15, 20 seconds. Hit the start button. Runkle is just, he's on it.
From other individuals as far as their observations or things that they heard.
you'll hear testimony from other individuals regarding things that they heard. Sir, you're being awfully specific. Do you think there's a way you could get any more vague for us? Because you really have got like the detail view here. We need you to back it up, like, you know, back up the microscope here.
All right, good one. Another good one. Okay, 25.
Snow throughout the roadway.
Did you?
As he's doing that, I anticipate you'll hear Ms. Roberts' testimony that despite the 6 inches of snow approximately that was on top of Mr. O'Keefe's body and the snow throughout the roadway.
Did you catch that? Did you catch what he just said? He just said the defendant confessed.
All right, I didn't catch that. But let's go back and let's get this one. Kind of like that too.
As he's doing that, I anticipate you'll hear Ms. Roberts' testimony that despite the 6 inches of snow approximately that was on top of Mr. O'Keefe's body and the snow throughout the roadway.
Did you catch that? Did you catch what he just said? He just said the defendant confessed. you shouldn't be able to listen to the prosecution's opening and miss that the defense or that the prosecution is claiming they have a confession. Like,
No, I don't know what he's talking about though. So let's see if we can figure out what he's talking about. Oh, right there. Okay, so I hit him. Okay, so let's go back and get that. And then I can clip it all together later. Okie dokie. All right.
From three of those firefighters, you'll hear testimony anticipates detailing statements that the defendant made to them when they had asked about the origination of some of those injuries. The defendant stated repeatedly, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Mr. O'Keefe was then taken from the front lawn onto what they call a scoop stretcher. As he's doing that,
He just went la-di-da-di-da. Well, you know, the defendant said, I hit him. Look at my notes, and then, okay, oh, God. He's right. I mean, this is so insane. All right, let's get a couple more from Runkle. I don't think we need Ferry anymore. Let's go a little farther on. Let's see, 41. I had something written down at 41, 57.
And that the initial people coming back from the waterfall, which includes the homeowners, Mr. Higgins, are sort of coming into the house. At that point, Colin Albert is leaving. He's getting picked up by a young lady named Allison McCabe, who is Jennifer and Matthew McCabe's daughter, who's also friends with Colin Albert and also cousins of Brian Albert Jr. in the home celebrating his birthday.
this is like the verbal equivalent of the crazy person's board of string connecting.
Oh my gosh. All right. This is great. Let's get this.
Oh my
There's
God.
testimony from other individuals who were at the house that night, including Colin Albert.
Get about 40 seconds of this.
Brian Albert Jr. was having people over for his birthday. He's leaving the house around the time that the initial people coming back from the waterfall, which includes the homeowners, Mr. Higgins, are sort of coming into the house. At that point, Colin Albert is leaving. He's getting picked up by a young lady named Allison McCabe, who is Jennifer and Matthew McCabe's daughter, who's also friends with Colin Albert and also cousins of Brian Albert Jr., who's within the home celebrating his birthday.
This is like the verbal equivalent of the crazy person's board of string connecting like various events. Except all of the events aren't like, you know, World Trade Center falls and like, you know, JFK assassination or whatever that you'd expect on somebody who's actually like got the crazy string board. They're things like, you know, so-and-so is someone's cousin, and then they like have string connecting out from that, and I'm going, okay.
All right, there we go. Okay, we'll figure one more from Runkle, and then we'll move on. I won't be using all of these. There's no way. All right, 101.58.
Actually make an argument. He can't. Her prosecution is going to be like at this, but at this point, if you're on the jury, are you awake?
I like that. Okay, get that one.
If the jury believes it, and those are also going to be big questions. But at this point, if you're on the jury, are you awake? Are you?
I love it. All right. Sorry, moving some stuff around on my upper monitor here so I can see better. All right, and blow this up a little bit. Sorry. All right, do that, do that. Do. Huh. So I get the chat on the side, but that's fine. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. One more. Let's look at 107. 107. What do we got? 107.29. That's the last one I wrote down.
Thank you very much for listening.
Okay.
All right, so that's the end of that.
That's the beginning. That is prosecution opener. The only good thing about that prosecution opening statement is that it sets the state, like the jury is going to be handed off to the defense team. And
All right, let's get that. Then we'll go on here.
Prosecution opening statement is that it sets the state, like the jury is going to be handed off to the defense team, and they're going to be like, we are so tired. Oh my God, please.
There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, and did I had a couple more for lawyer, so let's go look at that actually. That's Brandy. Okay, so I had 3239. 3239. Let's see where we're at here. Okay.
There's a text message saying, you did it again, referencing back to that time she said he was cheating. And that's the last text message between John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. Something like that. I'm not saying that exists. I'm just saying connect some of these dots with the evidence.
Now, you'll hear testimony from another. I'm not
hearing him say, and again that night, connect the dots and tell me why that is the motive, right? Motive, is that what they're getting at? If it is the motive, if the motive is jealousy, or she found something, or she didn't want him to leave and she was so mad because he was flirting again that night, connect the dots. And
all right, I like that. Let's get a little bit of that.
Still together after that. But is that supposed to be the motive? Is that what they're getting at? If it is the motive, if the motive is jealousy, or she found something, or she didn't want him to leave and she was so mad because he was flirting again that night, connect the dots and tell me why that is the motive.
Okay,
Right?
there we go. I like that. Oh.
Driving from Canton Police Station.
And of course I. Okay, so next one, 3457. 34. There we go. That's close enough.
So why not give that fact with that expert and say, and you'll see there's damage on that Lexus. And you'll also see there's damage on John O'Keefe's body. And you'll see the damage on the Lexus corresponds with the damage on John O'Keefe's body that corresponds with going in reverse 24 miles an hour. That's fast. That can do a lot of damage. You're going to hear that from the expert. Why not put those points all together in the same part of the outline?
Okay, so let's go back.
Owned by Toyota or vice versa.
Okay, so this must be when Lally says that she went in reverse 24 miles an hour or whatever. But that's all he says. I mean, that's
Scene his examination of specifically some Toyota intention. His Lexus is essentially owned by Toyota or vice versa. So there is some data that he's able to recover from that and back the vehicle up based on its known locations and travel. He cycles, essentially opines, he'll opine that around 12:45 in the morning when the vehicle was in front of the residence on Fairview, that for some perceptible period of time, that vehicle travels over 60 feet in reverse at over approximately 24.2 miles per hour.
So why not give that fact?
I thought she was home by 12:45.
Say, and you'll see there's damage on that Lexus.
Didn't she? When she
You'll
home
also
by
see there's damage
12:45?
on John O'Keefe's body, and you'll see the damage on the Lexus corresponds with the damage on John O'Keefe's
Well,
body.
of course
that
it
corresponds
doesn't.
with
That's the
going in
problem
reverse
that
24
they
miles an
have.
hour. That's fast. That can do a lot of damage. You're going to hear that from the expert. Why not put those points all together in the same part of the outline.
Because the evidence doesn't show that. They got a problem with the evidence not showing that it actually did do that. Okay, one more from him. 3845. What's at 3845?
Hit him, left him there to die. You're going to find her guilty. And to me, overall, this was not a very engaging opening statement.
Okay. All right. That's what we've got right there. So let's go back. Okay, let's get the end of it here.
That she examined in regard to that hair that Ms. Hartman found on the Buffalo Park, and her opinion that it was consistent with that of Mr. O'Keefe as well.
All right. So at this point, it's basically the end. He then talks a little bit about the medical examiner, doesn't connect a ton of dots with it, and also says that basically Karen Reed hit him, left him there to die. You're going to find her guilty. And to me, overall, this was not a very engaging opening statement. And
All right,
hard
that's
to me-
all we need right there. That's the ticket right there. That's the golden phrase. All right, so let's go to Mel. Let's get a little bit of Melanie. I'm gonna do Lolly first, and then we're gonna do Yannetti. So Melanie, little. There we go. 5. Opening statements.
Right now.
Okay. And transcript. Bring up transcript. Like I said, it's always under more. You show more. So you go here to the opening thing, which, you know, YouTube always just shows the first like 5 letters. Then you open it more, and he's like, oh, it's got all this. And then show transcript. And that shows you the entire transcript for the entire thing. It's a very cool feature of YouTube. It really is. So, okay, so I had a couple of Melanie. She doesn't really opine much until like later on. So let's see. I had a 144.24. Let's see what that is.
Canton PD reports, you will see it there. It is called a drinking glass. Now it has morphed into a cocktail glass throughout the course of this case. And it's throughout, you will see a drinking glass. A drinking glass.
Taillights, sort of howling from that vehicle. Pieces of the taillight that were discovered.
As he goes on with his opening statement, she jumps in more and more.
Called CERT team. You'll hear from Lieutenant Kevin O'Hara, who has a supervisory role in relation to that. Want to do over those successive days. There are additional
Emojis for me, please. All of them. Emojis for me, please.
area of the front lawn on the street. Now,
Somebody put up Twilight Zone emojis for me, please. All of them. Twilight Zone. The course of this case, Canton PD report cocktail glass. It's called a drinking towed back in a blizzard, but there's still pieces of this cocktail glass on the bumper. Okay. Okay.
It's good for this. It's kind of good for this week, actually. That kind of fits with this week, doesn't it? So let's get that.
The course of this case,
Get that.
and it's located on the bumper of the vehicle that was towed, that was driven from Canton to Dighton, and then towed back in a blizzard, but there's still pieces of this cocktail glass on the bumper. Okay. Okay. I hope you.
So yeah, that kind of fits in with this week, doesn't it? Yep.
in the same right hand that's attached to his right arm that has.
So Emily pointed it out earlier. I got to clip that, I guess, because he said something about his right hand that's still attached to his right arm. What does that even mean? So we got to get that. All right, here we go. And go.
walking out of the waterfall with a cocktail glass in his right hand. Same right hand that has minor injuries to it, and the same right hand that's attached to his right arm that has the abrasions and lacerations.
Same right hand that's attached to his right arm. It's the same right hand that's attached to his right arm. Why, I hope his right hand's still attached to his right arm. Good grief.
Plastic contained within the fence.
And I did clip something earlier too where he says that, let's go back to that 144.
Yep. Time change now. Time.
45 in the morning when the vehicle wasn't. Now, you'll hear testimony, as I said, from a number of different.
So I gotta find it. He says that the glass is in the bumper. He says in the bumper, and I know he doesn't. You know, that became a thing yesterday, and you know, I heard a few times people saying something about embedded in the bumper or whatever, and I went back and I tried to find. I even went back and looked at a couple of preliminary hearings. So there are some news stories out there where the news anchors and their story gets written up and they say that the prosecution said that the glass was embedded in the bumper, right? It says that exact thing. But if you watch that, it's from May of 2023, and it's a preliminary hearing from May of 2023. And in fact, he says something about it being in the bumper, but it's very unclear. He never says embedded. And so let me see if I can get it from Melody's here. If not, oh, you know, maybe, probably not. Okay, I'm not gonna go digging for that. But anyway, I'm gonna pull it up and use it in a couple of weeks, probably when we go through this testimony that went on this week. But it is weird that he says it's in, you know, it's in the bumper. He even uses the term in the bumper here in his opening. So in and on are really two different things.
A number of different members from his search team were searching.
All right, let's kind of see if we can search. Let's search bumper. See if we can find that real quick. So, okay.
Appropriate members. Thank you.
From these different pieces, Ms. Harvard also locates a cocktail glass that's located on the bumper or the rear.
Cocktail glass. It's called a drinking.
So
You'll hear testimony from another analyst, Christina Hanley, about the forensic consistency between a drinking glass that was in the defendant's bumper and
in the defendant's bumper. In the defendant's bumper.
You'll hear testimony from another analyst, Christina Hanley, about the forensic consistency between a drinking glass that was in the defendant's bumper and a drinking.
In the defendant's bumper. Not on, not laying on the bumper. In the bumper. That's, is it parsing words? Yes. When you're an attorney, do you need to be exact? Absolutely yes. So I don't know. It's, you know, but, and then, like I said, the media folks who use the word embedded, you know, that's still, anyway.
Bello, as a forensic pathologist. In particular, you will hear
Get a few more from Mel here.
You are the sole arbiters of the facts of guilty murder in the second. At that time, that second is that the only true and just verdict based on that is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, was
I need to get that here. We'll get that from Mel. How about that? Okay. And go.
court has instructed you. You are the sole arbiters of the facts of this case. You are the ones who find what the facts, I reiterate that, facts, and what the evidence demonstrates in this case. What I submit to you at that time, that second time, is that the only true and just verdict based on that is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing bleeding in his brain,
What?
swelling, and then leaving him there for several hours in a blizzard, with temperatures in the teens, wind swirling around, snow piling up on his body until she comes with Mrs. McCabe and Mrs. Roberts just after 6 a.m. And that she is also guilty of vehicular manslaughter, operating under the influence of liquor, and that she is also guilty of leaving the scene after causing death. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lally. Mr. Betty?
I mean, that's just, that was, he said striking her again? What? What did I just hear?
McCabe and Mrs. Roberts just after 6 a.m. And that's Mrs. and then back onto the ground, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing bleeding in his brain, swelling, and then him back onto the second degree.
I mean, even when he's trying to describe what happened, he just, what in the world was that? What?
Is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing bleeding in his brain.
Guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, I mean, that doesn't even grammatically make any freaking sense. All right, let's see. Kind of want to get some just commentary from her. But let's see. Before we go to Yannetti, I want to get just a little bit more. All right, let's see. Let's get to the end of Yannetti's thing. Okay.
So much. I have no words. Super sticker from On Top. Thank you. No word. I'm so emotional. I've asked more. Heaven says I'm batch baking some humble pie.
Oh, that's right. She was mad because of especially the
This is
thing that.
disturbing. I am sick. I could vomit. Proctor wanted Karen to harm herself, and he wanted news. This is disturbing. I am outraged. Marcy, thank you, and Carrie. I'm sorry, Kay Perry. Thank you for becoming a new member.
All right, I think we'll leave that out. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, we got some Runkle from her. We got some of that. And let's see if we can get some commentary from Miss Brandy. I just want a couple words from her, because she does a really good job. All right, and where are we at? We're at 214.
Whose fan are we watching? That is the Courts fan.
Right?
No, I think
We're
I
at
clicked
217
the right
now.
on mine.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I have not. Also, my heart breaks. Listen to his stuff again, because he doesn't, the podcast episodes and stuff, I've had to go back and I've done focus on what he's saying a lot of times. I know that, it's a lot of times when I've done the monotone, hard to follow. He is, Lally can be with that one for, I think for the prosecution,
Okay, we'll start there. I just kind of want to get a little bit of her reaction to it. So we'll record this.
I think the problem
Hi, everybody.
with that one for me is Lally.
There's a
can
lot of,
be
yeah. No, I mean, we
hard to follow.
got into this.
Tends to give a very
We'll let this play out, and then I'll kind of describe my reasoning for getting into this.
he's kind of monotone when he's speaking, and that makes it really hard to focus on what he's saying a lot of times. I know that it's a lot of times when I've done the podcast episodes and stuff, I've had to go back and listen to his stuff again because he doesn't, his delivery is not the same.
All right, that's good. Okay, let's go. Let's see if there's anything else. I just want to get a couple clips from her, but yeah, I mean, it was, this wasn't a big deal in this case. I mean, nobody had heard about it until Aiden started, doing that thing, and he was just dogged about getting the word out there. I mean, that's how I heard about it, was through him, and started, researching himself and looking at it and watching, a lot of the folks that have been covering it, and yeah, we've been doing stuff for a while now, and this case just kind of, it's one of those that's just, it's perplexing. It's perplexing that the state or the Commonwealth, Massachusetts or whatever. Yeah. So you're from Massachusetts, and Massachusetts, it's like it's supposed to be, the birthplace of freedom, right? But it's anything but right now. And when the state's going to bring a case like this, where so far the evidence it's not there. I haven't seen it. Nobody's seen it. And, the only people that have seen it are these, folks that are just have decided the state can never be wrong. I mean, that's the only way I can parse what they're seeing. They're just people that will always side with the state, and there's a lot of those people out there. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and it's been apparent, especially over the last 5, 6, 7 years, that what the folks say and what's the actual truth is not the same thing. All right, let's get some weird lolly stuff here.
What you'll hear also, I anticipate, from all three of those individuals in the pickup, and Julie Nagel, who comes out to the pickup to talk to the brother, is that no one ever exits that vehicle. There are no footprints around that vehicle. There's no damage that they observed to that vehicle at that time. Again, it's just started to snow.
All right, that's enough of that. Crazy guy. Get another one here. I mean, because you could just start it wherever.
Julie and Christopher Albert's son. He's also the cousin of Brian Albert.
It's a little loud.
People over for his birthday. He's leaving the house around the time that the.
I think we got that already. So let's go ahead a little bit. All right, there we go.
At the waterfall. Eventually, as Ms. McKay was waking up, she reminds the defendant that she not only saw them leave the waterfall around the same time as herself, but also saw the vehicle, the defendant's vehicle, outside of the home on Fairview Road.
I just, and the other thing about this case is that there is just there's a sideshow around this case. And the most important thing right now is the case. It is the trial. It is Miss Reed being on trial for her life right now. That is the most important thing. So this whole sideshow thing of other folks involved with, Turtle Boy will have his day in court coming soon. But for now, the most important thing is this trial. The outcome of this trial and, the defense of Miss Reed. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get Yanetti's opening. So we're going to get the exact opening from Yanetti. And then we're going to go back and look at some of the other folks and what they said. Because, this video that I'm going to do is going to be very much a contrast thing. Because this, as I said earlier, these openings are just, they're exactly how the trial has been going on. There are the mannerisms of Lolly in the opening, and the mannerisms of him in court are the same, and same with Yanetti. So, all right, let's get his exact opening, and we'll use Brandy for that. Perfect.
Done. I made a couple notes.
There we go.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn that it was no accident that John O'Keefe was found dead on the front lawn of 34th Fairview Road in Canton on January 29th of 2022.
Bam. Right. Right there. Come out a blazing. All right, let's catch. Let's just see what this is.
Yes, the judge is forcing them to stay behind that. So you parent, we're going to look at a lot of do after closing argument. Tell us the judge in the ground.
Come on.
More
Come
fun.
on.
Anticipate this officer's going to connect.
Blah, 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 blah.
Everybody hits that like button. We can start. We'll see.
Karen Reed was framed. Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did.
Pretty strong start.
Okay, we got to get that. All right, here we go. And that. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did.
Pretty strong start. I bet you every juror did this in their chair, straightened up, and was like, okay, all right, now we're getting to something.
All right. I love their reactions to him. So let's see. Let's bring up Emily, because I don't have Emily's yet for Yanetti. So I'm curious what her reaction was to the very beginning of that. Because she sat through, the 38, 40 minutes of whatever Lolly did. But yeah, you're right. He's been out. And you can tell the stress is getting to him. The Jesus Christ in court the other day that he just blurted out, on the mic, and then just the judge has been getting after him. Just been getting after him. All right, here we go. All right, so let's see.
Feed, so we have some closed captioning. There is no microphone.
Is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder, operating under the influence.
And then hit the victim with a car and then left him in the snow to die.
Okay, let's see.
The sound on
Let's
this
just see
feed
what
is
we
good.
get.
Let me gain this up just a little bit more. It's about as gained up as we can get, which is going to make the judge sound awful. Oh, that background noise is killing me.
Karen Reed was framed.
Well, the defense is definitely coming in with their theory of the case a bit faster than the prosecution did.
Gotta have it. Okay. Love it, love it, love it.
gain this up just a little bit more.
Oh, she's so great.
That's about as gained up as we can get, which is going to make the judge sound awful. Oh, that background noise is killing me.
Karen Reed was framed.
Well, the defense is definitely coming in with their theory of the case a bit faster than the prosecution did. Let's get these closed captions up. All right. Well, you know, if you're going to follow a theory of the case, that's a little easier to follow so far. It should be the evidence will show.
Karen Reed was framed. Her claim that it was no accident.
It's kind of
that John
argument.
O'Keefe was found dead in 2012. Well-known and well-connected law enforcement family.
All right, let's pull up the transcript here. Show transcript, because I want to get a few of her.
Court will likely give.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we bounced back to the beginning. Damn it. All right, here we go.
The victim.
That's Lolly. No, we don't want Lolly.
Control.
Okay, let's go back to where we were. Okay.
The sound on this feed is.
Alan Jackson and Elizabeth Little.
I think it's a good choice to have the
It's
local
truly
attorney
my
open.
privilege and my honor to represent Karen Reed during this trial. Commonwealth's evidence. You will question
Crime?
You will question why the investigators had such tunnel vision.
So distracted.
You will question why
Right on top of
they
his head.
focused solely on Karen Reed. Another police officer, Brian Albert, did nothing. It was obvious very early on that the Canton police should not be investigating
I want to hear, because I bet you when he.
his own sister's wedding.
Oh, his mom and them are all up in this trial.
Lead the investigation. Supposed to be investigating inside the Albert home and within the home.
Yep, and I can
He
follow
never
you, Eddie.
asked Brian Albert for permission to go in the home. Reed family, their second evidence, so that he didn't miss anything. Well, you were texting with his high school buddies about this supposedly secret investigation using his personal cell phone. He was revealing information about this investigation to his
Yikes.
friends, assuming that nobody would ever find out what he was doing and what he
That Lolly is redder in person. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. That's hilarious.
was saying.
Yikes.
And he was revealing his true thoughts about Karen Reed to his friends. Not what he put
Let's see, did he?
in his sanitized police reports. His true feelings.
Oh boy.
To his friends whom he trusted, and in text messages that he never thought would come into the hands of the defense in this case.
Okay, well, we want to know what they are.
Lead investigator
Yeah, you do.
Michael Proctor, right from the start, called Karen Reed names you would reserve only for your worst enemies.
And those are.
He told his friends that he hoped that she would kill herself.
Oh shit.
He told his friends that he had seized her cell phone. And you will learn that he knew he shouldn't have been accessing any content on her cell phone because he knew there would likely be attorney-client
No, he did
communications on
not.
between Karen and me at that time. He knew that he was supposed to wait for a search warrant or other permission from a judge in order to go through that phone. But you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed.
Oh,
And
fucking
he was
hell.
disappointed he hadn't found any yet.
What?
Is the professional and unbiased investigator who was chosen to lead the investigation into the death of on the front. Proctor's response to that was one word. Nope. He
Yikes.
explained why.
All right. Gotta get some of this here. Probably should have been recording it as we went, but I can't use the effing word All right, let's. All right, let's go ahead and start here. That's a good spot because this is a very important part. So I'll probably get this from a few people.
That John O'Keefe was found
All right.
on Brian Albert.
Sorry, we're going to go back through this again.
Proctor was texting with his high school buddies about this supposedly secret investigation.
Oh, shoot.
Using his personal cell phone.
Go back. I hit the button.
Michael Proctor was texting with his high school buddies about this supposedly secret investigation using his personal cell phone. He was revealing information about this investigation to his
Yikes.
friends, assuming that nobody would ever find out what he was doing and what he was saying.
Yikes.
And he was revealing his true thoughts about Karen Reed to his friends, not what he put in his sanitized police reports, his true feelings
Oh boy.
to his friends whom he trusted, and in text messages that he never thought would come into the hands of the defense in this case.
Okay, well, we want to
Okay. And. All right, and we'll start here again.
This case.
Okay, well, we want to know what they are.
Lead investigator Trooper Michael Proctor, right from the start, called Karen Reed names you would reserve only for your worst enemies.
And those are?
He told his friends that he hoped
Kind of guess what they are.
she would kill herself.
Oh, shit.
He told his friends that he had seized her cell phone. And you will learn that he knew he shouldn't have been accessing any content on her cell phone because he knew there would likely be attorney-client
No, he did
communications on
not.
between Karen and me at that time. He knew that he was supposed to wait for a search warrant or other permission from a judge in order to go through that phone. But you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed.
Oh,
And
fucking
he was
hell.
disappointed he hadn't found any yet.
What?
Is the professional
Yep.
and unbiased
So, I mean, you know they've got more on Proctor than this. You know they do. You know that the federal investigation and what he had to say, you know they've got a whole bunch more. I don't know that they'll put him on the stand. I really don't. I think they're gonna play it up, you know, because you heard the other day, oh, he's not gonna testify. Then you heard the other day, oh, he is gonna testify. And so, you know, what are they actually gonna
a
do?
good week after
All right, let's get a little bit of the taillight thing here.
seized
Back to the
Karen
lawyer.
Reed's
His
car.
facial expressions are
They
giving.
only started to find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had possession of her taillight. You'll learn that Trooper Michael Proctor then kept going back to the Albert residence after that day, and he claims to have kept finding pieces of taillight on multiple occasions on multiple different days. And in addition, a good week after John O'Keefe's death, Canton Police Chief Kenneth Berkowitz, an older officer on the brink of retirement with probably not the best eyesight,
I mean, we all get older.
someone, he supposedly was driving,
Eyes are gonna eyes.
happened to be driving past Brian.
Eyes are gonna eyes.
And by the way, Brian Albert is someone with whom Chief Berkowitz is also good friends. And this older man allegedly spotted yet another
All right,
piece of
there we
taillight
go.
from his moving.
Guess that's recorded.
Really?
This was yet another
Let's go back, get a little bit more of that.
someone with whom Chief Berkowitz is also good friends. And this older man allegedly spotted yet another piece of taillight from his moving vehicle.
Really?
This was yet another piece of taillight that
All right, let's see what else.
was on Meadows Ave. His
We got any more?
she hadn't come home. He had never been
Let me get some more good.
away. And when she did, the right rear taillight of her Lexus struck John's park. John O'Keefe was also not alone She didn't know that after Jennifer McCabe dropped off some people elsewhere, she returned to her own home. Googled for an Nicole at some point that night, sometime earlier. John O'Keefe died
Did in
part
fact die
because
from being
he
left
was
in the snow.
left to die in the cold.
Yep.
Now, the Commonwealth will try to dispute that
There we
3
go.
hours before anyone and typed a Google search settled in
The evidence was
their cell phone.
Okay, let's get the cell phone part because this is important too. And we want to do it here. Yeah, I want to switch it up. I want to get it from multiple people. So let's see.
Clickbaity titles.
All right, I want to see what he says about the. All right, there's.
Case go from this is justice for the defendant. I bet you every juror did. I was like, whatever. The point for lawyers is
I'm an attorney with an office in Boston, together with attorneys Alan Jackson, the Commonwealth's witnesses, and you will question their shoddy and biased investigation. Other of a Canton police officer
that's
were conflicted out. Now, that's
what you guys think. If you're going to grade the defense pretty hard nosed and strict,
John. Michael Proctor predetermined the outcome of this case. Never stepped foot.
And where did he talk about the? All right, there we go.
In order to go through that phone, but you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did, because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed. And he was just
this is not normal.
All right, we got to clip that.
in order to go through that phone, but you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did, because he told his high school
See you
buddies
later.
that he was
Thank you for
searching
coming.
her phone
Appreciate it.
for nude photos of Karen Reed. And he was just
This is not normal. This is not how it's supposed to work. So certain jobs are we
All right, there we go. That's enough.
This person was fired even though those photos and everything were gotten personally made. So this guy's for people to give a grade.
a homeowner would not catch a lot of grief. Is surely going to catch a lot of grief. And you know what Michael Proctor's response to that was? One word. Nope. And he explained why. Michael Proctor assured his buddies that the homeowner would not catch a lot of grief because, quote, the homeowner's a Boston cop too.
All right, we'll get that too. I want to get that. Let's go back. All right, catch that a little bit earlier. Okay. And go.
Is the professional and unbiased investigator who's chosen to lead the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe.
Oh, you know what? I need to get rid of that. Sorry. One. Nope, nope. All right. Dang it. Okay, so get rid of this one. Delete. Okay. All right, and
Is the professional and unbiased investigator
back up one more. Hit start and go.
disappointed he hadn't found any yet. That is the professional and unbiased investigator who's chosen to lead the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe. You'll learn that one of Michael Proctor's high school friends commented to him that with a dead body on the front lawn, the homeowner in this case is surely going to catch a lot of grief. And you know what Michael Proctor's response to that was? One word. Nope. And he explained why. Michael Proctor assured his buddies that the homeowner would not catch a lot of grief because, quote, The homeowner's a Boston cop too.
And again, you can say, sorry, I'm telling John, the Commonwealth, not the state, the Commonwealth opening statement. You can say cover up all you want. You can say bad investigation all you want as a criminal defense team. We've seen it happen, right? We've seen it happen. Sometimes we're like, that's pretty weak. Sometimes we're like, that's a pretty good argument. Very rarely do you have evidence where they literally say, nope, the homeowner's not gonna be in trouble because he's a Boston cop too.
There we go. Got that.
Tell me, does this not sound like
Was found dead on Brian Ellis.
Okay. I gotta step away for just a moment. Sorry, I'll let this play for a second. Give me like 45 seconds to a minute.
But you'll also learn that he wrote a search warrant in which he falsified the time that he took that SUV. He swore under oath that the vehicle wasn't towed until 5:30 p.m. But you'll learn that we obtained surveillance footage that he didn't know we would get. And that surveillance footage exposed that Michael Proctor's words in that sworn affidavit were a lie.
the judge is letting him say all this in opening statement, okay? In order to do this, you have to have a reasonable belief and a reasonable basis to do this. So I'm guessing he does. And if he's going to prove that Proctor lied on an affidavit about when they towed her car, the house starts to crumble as you remove brick by brick. And if you can take out the foundation, which is the lead investigator in the investigation, it's pretty hard for the state to build that house. And I'm not even going to say, like, with these types of facts, right? One thing, cover up. You know, somebody else did it and pinned it on her. Fine. You know, that sounds like a movie. Maybe they can prove it, maybe they can't. But when you come over to this side, where it's like, this guy said he's not even going to investigate this person because he's a Boston cop. He's at the head table at the wedding. He's part of the family. He's the reason the conflict is. He's looking at her phone for nudes. He's lying about towing cars and searching stuff and affidavits. That's reasonable doubt to me. So regardless of if they prove the wild story, this is the juice of a real criminal defense strategy. How can we trust this investigation? How can we trust this investigator? How can we trust these officers?
Michael Proctor had that vehicle for about 90 minutes before he claimed to have taken it. And folks, you will learn that the timing is important. Very important.
Very important.
Because when John O'Keefe was
Okay.
found on Brian
Thank you very much. Sorry for that. Had to take care of some business, if you know what I mean. All right. So let's go ahead. I want to get that part, but I'm going to get it from a different creator. So
Found more pieces and they were able to
find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had seized Cameron Reed's car.
okay, let's go ahead and go ahead and get this though, because I like this part. So we'll hit that, hit that.
That were found by a minimum of 4 officers looking for evidence was 0. It was only later in the day when the snow was really starting to accumulate that the police miraculously started to find pieces of taillight on the property. The police only started to find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had seized Cameron Reed's car. They only started to find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had possession of her taillight.
Wow. So we heard from the state, they found more pieces and they were able to put those pieces back together and they all lined up with the light. Now we find out that they only found the additional pieces after Proctor, who lied on an affidavit, had possession of Karen Reed's car.
How do they let this
ipso
guy
facto had
testify?
Possession of the taillight and the plastic/glass from the taillight.
Okay, that's enough of that. All right. What else? Let's skip forward. Eat some ho-ho.
That the prosecution now claims was broken outside the Albert residence hours earlier at 12:38. But we have video evidence that the taillight was actually broken at 5 a.m., many hours after the prosecution needs that taillight to have been broken.
All right, let's get that one. And then I think we'll move on to
Lexus. She backed up
somebody
out of the
else.
garage to leave the driveway, and when she did, the right rear taillight of her Lexus struck John's parked vehicle in the driveway, and her taillight cracked. That was the same taillight that the prosecution now claims was broken outside the Albert residence hours earlier at 12:38. But we have video evidence that the taillight was actually broken at 5 a.m., many hours after the prosecution needs that taillight to have been broken. There is, of course, no video of the taillight being broken at Ryan Albert's house. You will eventually conclude that that's because
Okay.
the taillight was not broken.
There we go.
Importantly, you will learn that there was an. Ryan Nagel confirms that there
The homeowner, partygoers, and John O'Keefe were all part of the same department that investigated John's death. No, they were not, because that was the point of the conflict. Love the Nighttime Lives. Thank you again for your time. Federal investigation and federal grand jury also have a federal proffer from one of the guilty. I don't know what one of the guilty means. Yes. And so he's got to deal with our bad facts. And I'll tell you why the defense lawyer is putting it out there, because the way it hit him. Like, why I said the only part where the defense lost me was when he said Karen's first thought was, did I hit him? I must have hit him. Like, why would that even enter her mind? And why would he put that out there?
returned to her own home. Karen didn't know that Jennifer McCabe climbed some stairs in her home and eventually made it into her bedroom with her cell phone. Karen didn't.
All right, we'll catch that from somebody else.
To you, right? So he's saying they're going to prove stuff.
I want to get to the end. Let's catch what he says. Let's catch how he.
Whether the Commonwealth, the prosecution, has proven to you each and every element of the crimes they have charged, beyond a reasonable doubt, to a moral certainty. The prosecution will fail to prove this case to a moral certainty because Karen Reed was framed and the evidence.
All right. So that is the end of the defense's opening. Valerie said, Peter, can you help me understand why the jury is not allowed to know about the federal investigation? Seems relevant to me. So the judge probably found, I don't know, again, what her ruling was, that it wasn't relevant to prove the case, but it could be relevant, at least certain portions of it, for impeachment or to poke holes in the state's case. And that's why it sounds like some of the documents might be. The fact that they're being investigated is not usually relevant. It's because, you know, the public policy behind it, if some locals, my guess is it hits home to figure out along the way. And that started today, you know, brother and sister died because, you know, the public policy behind it, if somebody committed a crime, I mean, but they have the story, right? They've got to tell it. So they're telling us not to solve the case, which he's right, obviously. But the case, that's the only issue I take. It's like you brought us all the way to kind of the edge that we feels like we have to solve the case, but now you're telling us not to solve the case, which he's right, obviously.
We'll be glad that he did.
That's interesting. And now he's getting into the, like, what the jury should, could, has to do, what their job is.
We'll be glad that he did. Second, we'll find that examinations first. So we respectfully.
All right, and okay, let's get some Runkle. Let's do some Runkle now. Got a few from Lawyer You Know. Now let's get on to Runkle, see what his take is of this.
Which is pro bono goals. Thank you so much. First, Marriott and Robertson, different. Here to do his thing. Not as big as a very old. There were severely limited, very difficult.
Framed.
Okay, here we go.
Karen Reed was framed.
Remember what I said about you want an opening that gets the jury paying attention?
All right, how can you not do that? All right. And go.
To get. Okay, here we go.
Karen Reed was framed.
Remember what I said about you want an opening that gets the jury paying attention? Remember what I like? Remember how I said you want the jury focused and you want them listening? That's a good opening. Like, that's a good start. That's a good.
All right, there we go. Okay. All right, and
because they're so tired that they're worried.
Karen.
So he's got to get them.
Karen Reed was framed.
Damn, son.
Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn.
Oh. And you know what? I like his tone. Tone is one of those things.
Okay. Gotta get that too.
You will learn.
Oh.
And let's go back.
Son?
Her car never. Karen Reed was framed.
Damn, son.
Her car never struck John O'Keefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn.
Oh. And you know what? I like his tone. Tone is one of those things that you got to watch for, but he's got the right amount of I am indignant about this.
Okay, that's perfect. So, hi, everybody that's out there. Appreciate you tuning in. Right now, I am just getting some clip. If you've seen that we've done a few videos, little 4-minute fun update videos on this case. And we appreciate all the watching. So I figured I would stream my process of how I go through that. And so my first process is to collect a bunch of clips. And then I will take those clips, combine them down to about 4 minutes worth of material. And so I figured what I wanted to do, because this week seems like it's going to be tough. There's not a lot going on to, there's no trial today. And so, it takes a while to collect all these things. So you can't do it in the same day. So I figured what I'd do, since we had all last week off, and then this week, is I was going to go back to the opening statements. We're going to look at the opening statements and look at what they said they were going to do. And, of course, Lally just basically mumbled on for 38 minutes and didn't really say much at all. But, so, and it shows that the opening statement is a microcosm of the entire trial, because the tone that all of these, that Yannetti and Lally takes during the opening statements is the same thing that we've seen throughout the trial. Lally just monotones on, doesn't really, he says confusing things. There was one point he talked about John O'Keefe's right hand, which is still attached to his right arm. Like, what? Where did that even come from? So I'm, going to gather the clips and, the commentary from some of these great creators, which are covering this trial. And then we'll condense this down. So this is the first process, is just recording all these clips. So I'm hitting this record button, recording the clips, and then eventually we'll tear them down to put them on the thing. So, okay.
Client, because no one stand with my client. I'm, somebody's got to stand up for the accused, and it might be a crappy job sometimes.
All right, let's get on.
That's what the prosecution is always doing.
Body was in full view and almost right below Brian Albert's bedroom window on his front lawn.
I'm sorry, I know it's a murder trial, but I just have to say it. Why can't we go? All right, moving on.
Was found mortally injured on Brian Albert's front.
I want to get some of this.
Wow.
His sister-in-law, Jennifer McKay.
All right, let's get some of that. Okay, let's just go ahead and start recording right here. Go.
All right, moving on.
Was found mortally injured on Brian Albert's front lawn. His body was in full view and almost right below Brian Albert's bedroom window on his front lawn. He was found wearing only one sneaker. You'll learn that Brian Albert was a Boston police officer as well, and that he was a trained first responder. Brian Albert was notified that another police officer was injured and unresponsive on his front lawn, and Brian Albert did nothing.
Wow.
His sister-in-law,
Like,
Jennifer
that's such a
McCabe,
powerful
and other
line.
civilians were on his property that morning after John O'Keefe's body was found. Police, EMTs, firefighters, police cruisers, and ambulance, fire truck, lights
All right.
flashing.
Okay, let's. Oh no!
This proceeds.
What did I do?
All right. Precious
Shoot.
little of my time.
Shoot. All right. Well, it's a good thing we have the transcript up because then we can just search for EMT.
Found. Police.
Okay, there we go. Woo, back to the right spot. Okay, good. Transcript is so handy on YouTube. Oh my goodness. If you're doing something like this, it's so handy to have the transcript. So, okay, let's get some more Runkleses. Runkleses.
Kevin Albert is a Canton police officer.
Protect the blue. I want to get a little bit about this wedding thing, but I don't know if I'll use it or not. Let's go ahead and burn this.
Was a man named Michael Proctor. Michael Proctor, you will learn, is one of the many people in Canton with deep ties to the Albert family. Michael Proctor's own mother refers to the Alberts as the Proctor's second family. His own sister's wedding.
You
Michael
see
Proctor
the
was in
lines?
the wedding party with Colin Albert. And he sat at the head table of that wedding with members of the Albert family. That's the man who was chosen to lead the investigation into
All of this stuff. There is conflicts of interest. There's all of this, right? I know where he's gripping and exciting doesn't necessarily mean he's got better evidence. Which officer?
All right, so let's go ahead and clip this too real quick.
I had no idea what was going on because he was still telling us who's related to who and who, like, you know, which officers were gonna, like, this I'm gripped. And here's the thing. Him being gripping and exciting doesn't necessarily mean he's got better evidence. And I mean, he's going to drop some bombshells, right? And yes, these are about the same lengths. He's going to drop some bombshells that he'll have to back up in evidence later.
All right, got that. Okay.
Did you go in the home and take a look around?
You know what? I got to say, if they found a dead body on my front yard right now, like, I'm not looking out the front window. But if they found a dead body on the front yard right now, I would get a knock on the door and the police would be saying, like, hey, can we look inside your house? And if that day, without having to talk to, like, you're
All
not
right,
from
let's
a,
get on
what's
to
he
the
gonna
phone
say?
thing.
I assume
New video.
you know what the usual protocol.
New video.
You know what the usual protocol is right now. The goods. And that's gonna be insane. Now I see a lot of people saying pictures too for when I get to the, like, pay meter and it asks me for my. Wow, he's delivered
That the homeowner would not catch a lot of grief because, quote,
there. So yep,
that
my phone. I prefer to might be husband and wife are sending pictures to say, like, I say young woman, I mean like over 18, because drug phones, and then they also, like, take those kinds of pictures and so forth.
All right, let's get this. Let's clip this one because this is so
or
powerful.
other permission from a judge
Yep.
in order to go through that phone.
So powerful.
But you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed. And he was disappointed he hadn't found any yet.
Holy shit. I am just gonna say, if that's my lead investigator on a case and I'm the prosecution, and this is my lead investigator who is, like, I'm assuming, like, listen, if this was bullshit, I assume that the prosecution would be on their feet shouting bloody murder. If I made something like this up in my opening statement, the prosecution would be like, mistrial law society proceedings right now.
Yep.
Because that ain't
Yep,
true.
they would. They absolutely would.
And they're letting him finish. It'll be because they've got no ground.
Okay, let's move on because we got this early stuff from most people. So
You'll learn that Brian Higgins called him back 17.
all right.
Evidence, because none of this groceries, and you went back. When the police go and they
Friend who had been at his house earlier that night, and that was at 2:22. But you will learn that he was ultimately confronted.
Lawyer, not the
utterly failed
top of her
to
head.
investigate.
All right, let's get some of this. I got to run real quick again, but I'll be right back. I'll let this record. Be right back.
People
Folks.
left the after-hours party at Brian Albert's house on January 29. Brian Albert claimed that he had no contact with anyone but his wife until he was woken up in the morning. But you will learn that he was ultimately confronted by the fact that his phone records revealed that he had actually placed a phone call to ATF agent Brian Higgins, his friend.
Ooh.
The same friend who had been at his house earlier that night. And that was at 2:22 in the morning.
One of the most damaging things is that is when you lie. This is one of the reasons why making a statement to the police is awful, because
Okay.
most people will get something wrong.
That was a good part. Okay.
Like, why is there this phone call? But if
Go ahead and get a little bit more of this.
But here we have a big problem, assuming he can back this up with evidence, because none of this is evidence. At this stage, it's just, him making his opening statement. But if the officer said he didn't have any contact with somebody, why is there this phone call at 2:22 to Mr. Higgins? That's weird.
Okay, and got that.
They connected 22 seconds on their cell phones.
That's a
You'll
quick
be asked
call.
to consider just how, in chronological order. 2:12 a.m.
Holy shit, chronological order? We don't do that in this courtroom, sir. Didn't you just see the prosecution? He's much more credible than...
All right. Gosh darn it. So much good stuff. All right. Clip this a little bit
the
too.
person who knows what this case is about. This guy does. Because he's able, like, every time he says something, he's able to be specific, particular. He's able to tell you what we know, what we don't know. Like, this is so much more credible than the prosecution's opening.
You will learn about the following in chronological order. 2:12 a.m.
Holy shit, chronological order? We don't do that in this courtroom, sir. Didn't you just see the prosecution? In every order but chronological. His order was more scatological than
God.
chronological.
Oh shoot! I turned it off too early. All right, I got to get that. Dang it! All right, hang on. Oh man,
He did every order but chronological.
that was great.
his order was more scatological than chronological. But yeah, 2:22 a.m.
Jennifer McCabe arrives at
That is great. All right. And then we got the. Okay, we'll do the 227 with him. Let's do that with. I want to get just some other folks.
gave away their family dog. And Chloe, the German Shepherd, Chloe, during that Greenwald's beloved Chloe. It's 29th of 2022, John O'Keefe would have been a stranger to that dog. And you'll learn that Chloe and Albert has
because those two things are consistent with.
All right, let's get a little bit about Chloe here with Runkle.
You know, but he's sort of
Hi, folks, if you're out there, please
spinning
just
the picture of
like,
hey,
subscribe
this
to the
could have been
channel
a
if you
dog
would,
fight,
please. It
and
really
this
helps us
really
out.
Had a dog.
If you haven't subscribed, click
learn
that
on
subscribe
January
button,
29th,
please.
2022, Brian
Please.
Albert's family dog,
All right.
Chloe, was a German Shepherd. You'll learn that Brian Albert has admitted that this dog is not good around strangers. You'll learn that on January 29th of 2022, John O'Keefe would have been a stranger to that dog. And you'll learn that Chloe had been the beloved family dog for the Alberts for 7 years. The Albert family loved Chloe.
All right.
Strangely, as we discuss this dog today.
We'll get some more from Chloe, from maybe Brandy.
In question.
And then decided to run him over, like angrier and angrier. Situation.
All right, let's get this. And then.
Usually that's not the first instance of violence. Usually there's a buildup. People don't typically go from 0 to murder. Right? There's not normally that kind of escalation. There's normally like a pattern of abuse because you get angrier and angrier over time.
Dang it.
Jury, even though there was blood.
There we go. That's where we were. Tell you that transcript.
Bored and trying to keep herself. It's really just determinative of she knows where that's going.
Pay attention to all of Karen Reed. I ask that you do two.
Okay, so here we go. Let's get this ending here, and then we'll move on.
So, folks, the trial is now about to start, and that witnesses are about to start testifying. On behalf of Karen Reed, I ask that you do two things during this trial. First, I ask that you pay attention to all of the evidence. The way trials work, the prosecution gets to present its case first. They conduct their direct examinations first. So we respectfully ask that you wait for us. We will get to cross-examine their witnesses, and you will find that cross-examination is the key that unlocks the truth.
I love this. He's like, I'm stealing this. Like this, I'm just gonna cut it out. I'm gonna lift it out of the thing. I'm gonna stamp it into my own homework, and I'm gonna put my name on it. Because
Perfect. All right.
often
Okay, we got
difficult.
plenty of Runkle, so let's move on. We got some of that. I want to get more Emily of him. All right, let's just go up here.
You will take one look at that arm. The injury marks that make it look as though an animal.
Come up a little bit.
But you won't have to rely just on your common sense when the conducted marks are consistent with. Brian Albert has admitted that this dog is not good around for 22 seconds.
Is it that weird?
And not to consider the fact that one of their and Karen were interacting on the night in question. There's a house full of people inside of any domestic would bicker or disagree. Ridiculous is that someone, not Karen Reed, ambushed John O'Keefe. Somebody probably didn't mean to kill him, but somebody went too far. Every element of the crimes they have charged, beyond a reasonable doubt,
Found the states, the Commonwealth.
Okay, I want to catch just a little bit of this. All right, here we go. And record.
For tomorrow. Opening statements have concluded in the Karen Reed trial. I found the states, the Commonwealth's opening statement to be a bit hard to follow. They got very into the weeds of who was where and what. They jumped around in time quite a lot between the night of the murder, a trip to Aruba earlier in January over New Year's, back to the morning that the victim was found, back to when people were at the bar. And it was incredibly difficult to follow. Even when they pointed out statements made by the defendant, they weren't punctuated. The statements by the defendant saying to, with some argument, but wasn't objected to, defense opening.
Okay, let's go back to this. And catch that. Get a little bit about the defense here.
Hit by a snowplow. None of those were well punctuated and were hard to follow. The defense opening statement started with Karen Reed was framed and then laid out with some argument, but wasn't objected to, their theory of the case, including details about this case that were shocking to me, including the fact that they have the lead investigator's personal cell phone. Well, at the very, very beginning of this investigation, they argue that the evidence, well, they state that the evidence will show that the lead investigator was texting his friends from high school about this investigation. And they say that the texts from the lead investigator, Trooper Proctor's phone, will show that somebody said, well, the homeowner is going to catch some heat. And the lead investigator's response to that was nope. They also talk about the fact that the house party
Okay,
where
got
the victim
that.
had been was a house.
All right. So I think we'll get a little bit from Melanie, just a few pieces from her. Let's see. Now I got a different. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get some.
and you'll know that he did because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed.
Okay, we got to get that. All right, let's clip that. Let's get that.
His high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed. And he was disappointed he hadn't found any yet. That is the professional and unbiased investigator who was chosen to lead the.
Okay, somebody said not to pause the stream. I'm pausing the stream. I am pausing the stream and I am rewinding this because I am outraged. I am outraged. And the reason that he can mention this in opening is because he's got receipts. He's got receipts of this. I am outraged. This case is over, says Boston JD. We're taking it back, you guys. Don't worry. I know we're behind. And that's because I'm a commentator. This is what I do. We're commentating. If you're watching it somewhere else,
Okay.
that's totally cool. Just don't put any spoilers in the
Trooper Michael Proctor, right from the start, because he knew there would likely be attorney-client, because he told his high school buddies. But you'll learn that he went through the phone anyway, without permission. And you'll know that he did, because he told his high school buddies that he was searching her phone for nude photos of Karen Reed.
He was searching her photo for nude photos of Karen Reed on her phone. Let that sink in. Between Proctor and his high school friends.
You'll learn that one of Michael Proctor's
Oh, let's go back one little click there. Do. Okay, let's get this. Such powerful stuff, man.
unbiased investigator
Powerful
was
stuff.
chosen to lead the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe. You'll learn that one of Michael Proctor's high school friends commented to him that with a dead body on the front lawn, the homeowner in this case is surely going to catch a lot of grief. And do you know what Michael Proctor's response to that was? One word. Nope.
Nope. One word. Homeowner's going to catch a lot of grief from this, said his high school friend, and Proctor wrote back, nope. Sorry if I'm blowing your ears out, but I know there's a volume difference here.
And he explained why. Michael Proctor assured his buddies that the homeowner would not catch a lot of grief because, quote, the homeowner's a Boston cop too, end quote. That one sentence, ladies and gentlemen, in Michael Proctor's own words,
Oh, I saw something about falsified. Let's see.
in which he falsified the time.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, get this. This is about the car and the search warrant.
After John O'Keefe's body,
We didn't record that earlier,
on
so
Brian Alberts.
I'm definitely going to record that.
You'll learn that Michael Proctor had her Lexus SUV towed from her parents' home. But you'll also learn that he wrote a search warrant in which he falsified the time that he took that SUV. He swore under oath that the vehicle wasn't towed until 5:30 p.m. But you'll learn that we obtained surveillance footage that he didn't know we would get. And that surveillance footage exposed that Michael Proctor's words in that sworn affidavit were a lie. Michael Proctor had that vehicle for about 90 minutes before he claimed to have taken it. And folks, you will learn that the timing is important, very important. Because when John O'Keefe was first found on Brian Alberts'
Okay, we had the stuff about the taillight.
him at all. Karen was drifting in and out of sleep.
I want to catch this a little bit. Okay, let's get this. Wait for it and go.
Meadows Ave, across town in Canton. At John's home, where he lived with his.
Ooh, we hit 50 viewers. Hello, everybody.
Karen was drifting in
We're
and
just
out of sleep.
getting
But
clips.
she woke up for good in a panic sometime around 4 a.m. because John hadn't come home. And that was not like him at all. He had never done that before.
All
Karen
right,
was
that's a
thinking,
good
feeling
part right
that
there. That is a good part. And then I don't think we got the 227 stuff yet. So let's get a little 227. And let's turn that off. Okay, there we go. Let's get the stuff about Jennifer McCabe.
She didn't know that after Jennifer McCabe dropped off some people elsewhere, she returned to her own home. Karen didn't know that Jennifer McCabe climbed some stairs in her home and eventually made it into her bedroom with her cell phone. Karen didn't know that Jennifer McCabe settled in at 2:27 in the morning on January 29th, 2022, and typed a Google search that she would later delete. 2:27 in the morning was over 3 hours before John O'Keefe's body was found on Brian Albert's lawn. 2:27 was over 3 hours before anyone knew or suspected that John O'Keefe was missing or hurt or in trouble. And at 2:27 in the morning, you will learn that with no one watching her, thinking she was alone with her thoughts, and not worrying that anyone would know what she was doing, Jennifer McCabe typed in the following Google search: how long to die in the cold? Now, she
Bam.
misspelled the first word, so the actual search was
Let's get this again because it's got the Hoss long.
how long to die in the cold.
Hmm.
Now, she misspelled the first word, so the actual search was Hoslong to die in the cold, but you'll get the point. You will ask yourself, why would somebody Google how long does it But you will learn that there are big problems with the Commonwealth's theory of this case. You will learn that there were 6 people at that after-hours party at Brian Albert's house, all of whom left by the front door and would have been confronted by John O'Keefe's lifeless body on that lawn if he was actually there at that time. Those 6 people walked out the front door to 34 Fairview, walked to their cars. Was also there.
Get this here.
Was also there. All of them leaving the residence. Each of those people left 34 Fairview in Canton, where Brian Albert lived. Each of them walked out facing the front lawn, where the Commonwealth will tell you that a 6'2", nearly 220-pound big man in dark clothing was sprawled on the front lawn when there was only a dusting of white snow on the ground. He was supposedly sprawled on that lawn, just feet from where these people were walking when they left the residence. And you will learn that not one of these people saw John O'Keefe Lane. Not one.
All right. Okay, and then let's get a little with Brandy, and then we'll go. I think we'll be good. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is a good one. All right. This is pretty good here.
Hours of January 29th, a snowplow driver in charge of plowing the street for the city of Canton. And this is another big problem for the Commonwealth. You will learn that Michael Proctor, here's that name again, wrote a report.
Here's that name again.
The DPW supervisor had told him that Fairview Road had not been plowed that night. Proctor's total investigation on this issue consisted of one phone call and no follow-up. He just submitted his report that simply said the road hadn't been plowed that night, and perhaps thinking that no one else would follow up either. But you'll learn that when it came to finding out the truth, it's not that Proctor couldn't find the truth, it's that he wouldn't. But fortunately, you'll learn that we would, and we did. You'll learn that within weeks after January 29th, we sent our investigator, a former Medford police officer named Paul Makowski, to the Canton DPW to try to get to the bottom of this. Paul Makowski talked to the same supervisor at the DPW, a man named Michael Trotta, whom Proctor claimed had told him that the street hadn't been plowed that night. You'll learn that Paul Makowski found out that Michael Proctor was not telling the truth. You'll learn that Michael Trotta from the DPW told Paul Makowski, our investigator, that the street was indeed plowed that night, and that the name of the plow driver was Brian Laughlin. So Paul Makowski tracked down Brian Laughlin. He asked Mr. Laughlin if the state police or any investigators had ever spoken to him. And the answer came back, no.
Crazy. All right, let's keep going here. I just wanted to give it a break.
You will then learn what Brian Loughran had to say about what he saw and didn't see that night, and you will be shocked. Brian Loughran told Paul Mikowski that he was driving a big snowplow in Canton that night. You'll learn that the nickname for it at the DPW was Frankenstein, because it had a lot of spare parts and it had been around forever. Brian Loughran told Paul Mikowski that when he plows the streets of Canton in Frankenstein, he's very careful. He makes sure to check not only the roads in front of him, but also the yards to the side of his plow. He makes sure not to hit a fire hydrant or a tree or an animal, or heaven forbid, a person lying in the snow.
All right, that's enough of that. I will use.
You'll learn that Brian
That was like 2 minutes worth of stuff, and I'll probably use like 15 seconds of it. So, yeah. Okay, the Ford Edge. We want to get the Ford Edge. Okay, so we'll get this. All right, I want to get this. This will dovetail in with the plow
He looked
stuff.
down the street, and he saw that parked right next to Brian Albert's front lawn, right in the very area where John O'Keefe's body was later found at 6 a.m., Brian Loughran saw a Ford Edge parked on the side of the road. You will learn that the police have done zero investigation to discover whose Ford Edge that was. You'll learn that members of the
Unbelievable.
Gallup family drove Ford Edges. You'll learn that the police to this day claim not to know who was parked right next to the area where John O'Keefe's body was later found. You'll learn
Bam.
that while investigators on this case
All right, and
was later found, the Commonwealth will not be able to successfully dispute any of those facts, but I expect that they will persist in asking you to
this is really strong too. All right, let's get this.
confirms that a Ford Edge was parked right where John O'Keefe's body was later found. The Commonwealth will not be able to successfully dispute any of those facts, but I expect that they will persist in asking you to convict Karen Read anyway. You will learn that there are other major problems with the Commonwealth's theory. You'll learn that when John O'Keefe was found, he did not look like he had been hit by a car. You'll learn that he looked to have been attacked and beaten up. You'll learn that John O'Keefe was a large 6'2" man who, if positioned behind a Lexus SUV, would have had his torso completely exposed to the rear of that vehicle, including to the taillight.
All right, I want to get the Chloe. I want to Okay, here we go. Get a little Chloe with
Was called to testify
Miss
before the
Brandy.
grand jury regarding this matter in April of 2022, and that he did testify about his German Shepherd Chloe during that grand jury testimony. And you'll learn that not long after that testimony, Brian Albert and his family rehomed their beloved family dog. They gave away their family dog, and Chloe, the German Shepherd, is therefore now gone. Now,
crazy.
probably didn't mean to kill him, but somebody went too far.
All right, let's get this and then.
For the first time, and intentionally kill her boyfriend by hitting him with her car and leaving him there with a house full of people inside is patently ridiculous. You will also learn that what's not ridiculous is that someone, not Karen Read, ambushed John O'Keefe. Somebody probably didn't mean to kill him, but somebody went too far. You'll learn that Trooper Proctor failed to investigate motives that other people had to harm John O'Keefe. You'll learn that Proctor failed to investigate anything or anyone who was in the Albert residence that night. You'll learn that he failed to investigate the antagonistic relationship between members of the Eye on the Ball. You have one job and one job only to do during this trial, and that
Let's go back a little bit more. All right, let's go
to
there.
determine whether the
Ah.
Commonwealth
Stop. Back. Record. And go.
Your only job during this
All right.
trial is to determine whether the Commonwealth, the prosecution, has proven to you each and every element of the crimes they have charged, beyond a reasonable doubt, to a moral certainty. The prosecution will fail to prove this case to a moral certainty. They will fail to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. You will reasonably doubt their case because their theory of the case does not make sense.
Okay, and this is the end of it. Okay, here we go. Let's just get this to the end. And then I think I'll probably go back
They will
and get the
fail to
ending
prove
with
this
Runkle.
case beyond a reasonable doubt. You will reasonably doubt their case because their theory of the case does not make sense. You will reasonably doubt their case because Karen Reed was framed, and the evidence shows that, despite the fact that the police never ever investigated that angle of this case at all. Because the prosecution will not prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt to a moral certainty, we will stand before you again at the end of this trial and ask that you find Karen Reed not guilty.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Giannetti.
Right. Ah.
Yes.
All right, I need to make sure these work. I never did that.
The person who knows what this
Yep,
case is
they
about.
do. See, there's my. There it is.
This guy does.
And of course,
because he's able.
and of course, I searched nude, so that's showing up on the top. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cover that up. But I could, yeah, I can do that with the thing. Won't be a big deal. All right, so almost to dog feeding time. But we got a few more minutes. So let's get the very end of this from Runkle as well. Okay. I think we're almost at the end anyway.
You're trying to get the jury. Often when you stand up and you as defense, people already hate you when you are about to start talking. Let me have a chance to convince you.
You'll be glad that you did. Wait for us. You'll be glad that you did. Second, I ask that you keep your eye on the ball. You have one job and one job only to do during this trial, and that job, quite frankly, is not to solve this case. Your only job during this trial is to determine whether the Commonwealth, the prosecution, has proven to you each and every element of the crimes they have charged, beyond a reasonable doubt, to a moral certainty.
Now, the moral certainty is
Prosecution
interesting.
will fail to prove this case to a moral certainty.
Now, that's a little
They
bit
will
of
fail to
argument,
prove
it
this
seems.
case beyond a reasonable doubt. You will reasonably doubt their case because their theory of the case does not make sense. You will reasonably doubt
100% we do.
their case because Karen Reed was framed, and the evidence shows that, despite the fact that the police never ever investigated that angle of this case at all. Because the prosecution will not prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt through a moral certainty, we will stand before you again at the end of this trial and ask that you find Karen Reed not guilty.
All
That
right.
is a great ending.
Dang it. All right, I gotta get that. And go.
That is a great ending. I feel like the prosecution should be sitting there looking at that opening and going, can we have a do-over? Because we didn't understand the assignment.
Perfect.
That's where this kind of feels.
Oh
like
my
it is.
God.
It's just like how
Oh man. All right, I want to get. Let's see. Did we get the end of? I don't remember if we did that or not.
Is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing the
I got to get this dumbass one more time.
what the evidence demonstrates in this case. What I
Such a
submit to you at
difference.
that time
Such a difference.
That the only true and just verdict based on that is that the defendant, Karen Reed, is guilty of murder in the second degree, striking the victim, Mr. O'Keefe, with her car, knocking him back onto the ground, striking his head on the ground, causing bleeding in his brain, swelling, and then leaving him there for several hours in a blizzard, with temperatures in the teens, wind swirling around, snow.
Guys, we are at 37 minutes into a 38 or 39-minute opening, and we finally heard the word murder. 37 minutes in. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Piling up on his body until she comes with Mrs. McCabe and Mrs. Roberts just after 6 a.m. And that she is also guilty of vehicular manslaughter, operating under the influence of liquor, and that she is also guilty of leaving the scene after causing. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, so
All right.
that's that.
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, besides the things I got from Emily earlier, I have all of this. So I think we got enough to put together a 4-minute video. And I think we got enough to compare and contrast the style between Mr. Lally and Mr. Yannetti, which of course, you know, we've been doing all trial because we're going to do more videos about this, about Lally and his just meandering thing. You know, as we're right now into it seems like we're getting into the science portion now of the Commonwealth's case, into the forensic part of the Commonwealth's case. So we can, I mean, hopefully they've got something. I know, you know, he talked about a crash reconstructionist, and he talked about somebody who was going to opine that the car went in reverse 24 miles an hour, you know, 60 feet or whatever. But I mean, it didn't sound like he was confident about that. And so, yeah. And then I did see the thing that, let's see if I can find it here on the tweeters. But, let's see, 4 days. Let's see. 4 days, Jackson. You know, basically, Jackson said they put their case on in 4 days. So, I mean, I guess that, you know, I don't know about that, because that just seems like, yeah, that seems like a, yeah, I don't know that you could do that in 4 days. It's going to depend on Mr. Cross-examination from Lolly and how long that takes, because good grief. But I mean, you've seen how he is on direct. How is Lolly going to cross-examine people? I don't even know what that looks like. That insanity. That looks like insanity. It looks like absolute insanity is what that's going to look like. It's going to be very, very bad. Because he is not a good litigator. So that's probably why they gave him the case. But anyway, all right. I am going to go feed the dogs. Can't be very loud because they will hear me and come running and cause a ruckus. But yeah, they're all in here. Not all in here, but they're definitely looking like, hey, it's our time. So, hey, I appreciate folks hanging out. And I see you there. I appreciate you being here and watching. And I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that I'll get this video done before Friday. I've got all the clips now, so if I can get some time tomorrow, we're filming, because the name of this channel is Mistakes Were Made, and Mistakes Were Made because it's the name of the show that I'm trying to do. I have recruited a bunch of friends as actors and written a script, and we're trying to do a pilot, but it's all self-financed by me, so it takes a long time to do this. So we kind of stumbled into this case as we're going and doing this, but tomorrow night we're actually going to film another scene for the pilot at Rethink Home in Anchorage, Alaska, my partner's used furniture store. So as you can see, we got all kinds of stuff going on. So I figured tomorrow night I will do that, film that scene, then I'm going to come home, then I'm going to take my clips that we recorded tonight, and I'm going to put them into Adobe Premiere Pro and line them out and figure out, I've definitely got over an hour of footage here. It's over an hour, and I'm going to condense down to 4 minutes. That will be a challenge, but we'll get it done because we have to, because I don't know, I like the 4-minute format. I mean, we could go to 5, but if you look at the I mean, most people are watching, average is like 220. I think on the one long video that we did, it was 220, and then the last one here, it's been even a little lower than that, but no, it's all good. It's exciting. So I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to the channel if you appreciate this. If you like what you see, we'll definitely be doing more of it. And yeah, we're just, and there'll be more to come on the show that we're doing and our podcast and this case. Definitely more on this case because it's such a fascinating case. It's such a messed up case too. But yeah, one of the odd things about this case, and right before I go here, one of the odd things about this case is usually the state has this, when you are a defendant going up against the state, then the state usually has the resources that they need to really execute their case. Like, there's no stone that they won't overturn. There's no expense that they won't spare for getting experts or whatever. And in this case, it seems like there's a kind of you got Lally, and you've got a bunch of flunky other people that just what witness has inspired confidence in the Commonwealth's case? What witness has come out and inspired confidence that their theory of the case, which besides what he said in his opening statement, what evidence has been presented that this even happened? There has not been any. And so, yeah, as we go on, we'll see. But at this point, I mean, if you're a jury member sitting on this jury going, okay, when are you going to tell me something that is relevant to this case? So, all right. Dogs are hungry. So I must go. But thank you very much. Oh, see, as the channel, as more people tune in, I'm going to sign off. But I really appreciate it. Please, like I said, like the stream and subscribe to our channel, please. We're growing. We have a lot of fun. So I appreciate everybody being here. I'm hopefully going to do this more. I tried to do it earlier tonight. It didn't work. It fell apart at the store because I just didn't have enough computer power. But I have enough computer power here. So we're going to see. Oh, it looks like I've actually been dropping some frames too. Interesting. I have to look at that. Oh, an hour ago. Okay, so not too bad. All right. Anyway, thank you very much for being here. And I will catch you next time. And we'll see you Friday night, if you can tune in. Friday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Alaska Time is our weekly live stream from the Rethink Home Studios at Rethink Home, Alaska. So please tune in to that if you get a chance. And we'll be talking about this case and some other just fun stuff that we come across. So, all right. Thank you very much.